welcome to another episode of the Post Basketball Report with Chris Ramirez, Outlaw, and Anthony Forrester, giving you another episode. Fellas, we continue with March Madness as we move on to the Sweet 16 starting up this weekend. So tell me your input on it, AJ.
Yes, so far, this March has lived up to its name. It's been a lot of madness going on with a lot of top seeds going down, and some teams making a nice little run. But I'm really liking what I see right here with the Sweet 16 matchups. A lot of tough teams gonna be matching up this week. I'm going at it, so I'm excited. And I'm ready to dive into who we believe is gonna be moving on to the Elite Eight and things of that nature. So. It's an exciting time, especially when you get to the Sweet 16. You really get all those tough matchups. You know, it's no really landslides and everything. Everyone's competing and showing what they really could do. So this is exciting.
Yes, Bo, tell me your input on the Sweet 16.
Man, listen, AJ said it good, man. It's the madness. We start the tournament off with upset after upset after upset.
Yeah.
You got Cinderella right now. FAU is probably the Cinderella of the tournament right now because they won games and still winning. So this is what you play the game for. You want to see who's playing basketball at the right time at the best ball because everyone in D1 can play. So now it's about, can I get it done right now when I need to? And there's a lot of guys doing it, and I'm particularly biased and happy about one team doing it pretty good right now.
All right.
H-Town Cougars.
Cougar Nation. Yes.
Yes, sir.
And I'll be in Vegas too for the West region tomorrow and Saturday. I'm looking forward. My favorite time of the year, March Madness. And yes, we have some Cinderellas. Like you said, AJ, we got Cinderellas. We got FAU, Princeton. What a run. Also, you got Creighton, who's really climbed up in there, and we're going to get started.
Arkansas, man, we talked about them in the first show, man, and they're looking like the team people predicted earlier, before the season started. So that's exciting too. Not Cinderella, but I feel like they're a team that, started to click, but, they are coming into a heavy hitter in UConn, so that's going to be an interesting matchup.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so we're going to go to, speaking of Florida Atlantic, they're going to take on Tennessee after surviving against Louisiana in the first round. Tennessee made a quick work on a then red-hot Duke team in the round of 32. Olivier Nkwama had absolutely a brilliant, was brilliant throughout the matchup. 27 points, 10 for 13 from shooting. Came after he scored 8 points in the opening round. Vols are playing great basketball as well, heading into the Sweet 16. Florida Atlantic, they defeated Memphis by 1 in the first round. Also took out another Cinderella team, Fairleigh Dickinson, that beat a top seed Purdue. In the second round, and they're led by Jonell Davis, who had a double-double of 29 points and 12 rebounds to help the Owls advance to the Sweet 16. Tell me you guys match up. AJ.
Yeah, he sprinkled in 5 assists and 5 steals in that game. Jonell Davis, I seen a quote from him after the game, and he's a dog, man. He just said he's hungry, he's trying to feed his family, and he's trying to get to it. March Madness is where guys make a name for themselves and sense for the draft and everything like that. But he's really pushing that FAU team. They have confidence. That's the thing about the tournament. You start winning, you start building that confidence. And like Bo said, everyone here is D1 talent. Everyone can play. So they're gonna give Tennessee a real run for their money. You know what I'm saying? But
AJ,
I think
talking about real run. Tennessee surprised me. I knew they were good, but they played really, really good against Duke. And, Duke was one of my favorites because they were playing well at the right time. But I was talking to some people, and I found out what the problem was. And I think FAU has a little bit of advantage over the Duke situation. Duke, if you look, had 3 to 4 freshmen on court most of the time. And Tennessee had those grown men. So they were hitting him in the mouth being physical, and you can see the physicality of the game affected Duke. Like you said, FAU is hungry, so they got a good chance of being in this game. I'm favoring Tennessee, but since we're in Florida, guess what I'm going for? FAU all the way, baby.
Let's go, Owls.
Yes, sir.
Yes. I like this is gonna be a close game. I'm gonna say it's hard to be it's a coin toss. Tennessee's gotta come play physical. FAU gotta play up tempo, have the track meet with them, and we're out Tennessee for them to have a chance to win. Jonell Davis needs to just keep up with his performance, and we're gonna see a good game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be a nice little matchup, man. As long as FAU, like I said, they keep that hunger, they keep that drive, and like you said, Chris, keep the tempo up. They could really put that pressure on Tennessee.
Yeah,
that's a good game. Y'all got a good match right there. That's a good match. What's gonna be key, I think, is that big. They got a 7-footer who actually can play in this game and help them on the inside with that physicality, and he'll be key for that part of them in the middle.
Right. So the winner of that game is going to take on Michigan State and Kansas. Michigan State relied on a great deal of Tyson Walker and Joey Hauser scoring. They also showed up big time in the second round with a win over the second seed Marquette, who was playing at their best as well too. Scoring a combined, both Hauser and Walker scored combined 37 points on 10 for 19 from the field. They went, including the charity strike, 15 times. Now, K-State, they're no slouch. I like this team. They held Kentucky to 69 points this past weekend. K-State forced 16 Kentucky turnovers and held them to 4 of 20 from the 3-point range. And Marquise Noel put on another great showing of what we saw against Kentucky. He had 27 points, 7 for 14 from shooting. This was his best scoring output since early January. Tell me your output, AJ.
This is K-State, them boys with Keontae Johnson and Noel. Noel gives me a little bit of that Isaiah Thomas vibe, man. He plays with where my guy Rashad Phillips, like he's magnetism, just the way he's a New York point guard, and they got that flair to him. You know about that, Chris. You're a New York guy. So that swagger with the shift. The shiftiness, the heart, gonna talk, go down your throat, and he's not gonna back down. There was one shot that he took that was nasty in that Kentucky game when he just took it with confidence. That 3, it was just a dagger, and then he just put the gun at the bench at Kentucky. Like he just had all the it factor in that game for me.
He did.
So and then obviously the story of Keontae Johnson. I'm continuing to love to see him go on and what he contributes to this team, and a team that no one believed they were even going to be in this position early before the season. I think they had them projected last in their conference. So, but when you're going against a Michigan State team with Tom Izzo, man, and just the pedigree he brings from the coaching standpoint, he's going to have something up his sleeve that he's going to try to minimize Noel and Keontae and take away their strengths. So. And like you brought up Tyson and Joey, they're going to have to play consistent in this one. But I want to see, first year coach Tang versus Izzo. Let's see what happens with the matchup and what happens. But I'm excited for this one for sure. And, a little me wants to go for K-State because this Noel kid, I'm just loving what he brings in his flair to the game.
Man, listen, K-State, Michigan State, battle of the states, huh? Check this out. They got 2 little guards that are playing well at this time when they need to play well. I'm a favor Michigan State a little bit just because of the physicality they bring, but also K-State I'm going with them because I said that Johnson, his story, like you say, that's a great story. And he's another kid that was in Florida. So, I'm trying to support all these Florida boys. I'm a little biased to the people that's come from where I'm living right now. But they have a story that they can make a lot of noise right now. Like you said, they were picked last in their conference, and they're doing this and playing great and playing well. First-year coach. Why wouldn't you want that to happen? Izzo, legendary coach. He's going to come out there with a game plan and execute, and you're going to have to be tough. Because for 40 minutes, you're going to get hit. And if the guys on the court don't hit you, he's going to bring somebody in there to hit you, let you know that this is a NCAA tournament game that we're trying to win. So it's going to be this. That's another game that's going to be tough, and it's just going to come down to who wants it and who can make plays in the crunch.
Definitely. I tell you, Michigan State could play physical. Always Tom Izzo gets his team ready at this time of season. And you already know Michigan State's been there numerous times. And yes, they're going to get physical. But great story, as you mentioned, from Keontae Johnson, who collapsed a season ago while playing at Florida. I like to see a great story from him. Even so, regardless of how far they go, it was still a story for Keontae Johnson. So that's going to be another good game. That's going to be a one that's going to be down the wire. But the it factor is going to be Marquise Novell. He's going to have to bring it again. He's going to have to deliver. He's going to have to come up big for them to get a chance to go to Elite. All right, we're going to move on to the Midwest. And first of all, we got Miami against Houston.
Oh, man.
We gonna let Bo go first on this one. We gonna let Bo go first.
Yeah.
No, man, I don't want to say nothing about this game, truth, because I'm nervous. So I don't want to say nothing. I live in Florida. I'm all about the Florida teams. But right now, Miami, I'm sorry, I ain't got nothing for you today. I'm all Houston all day, all the way. My guys are playing good right now. The key for us is Sasser being healthy. This rest time he's getting is great. But really the key is going to be our supporting cast. Yeah, you know what you're getting from your starters. Our bench is going to come in and have to produce for us. They're going to have to make shots and make plays. And that's what's going to be the difference, because the starters are going to do what they do. How good can our bench be for us? Can we? Because like last game, we got guys stepping up all the time. But I'm going to need for our bench, because Wong and his crew down there, these guys, they playing on a whole nother level right now. They're making shots. They're playing defense. They're getting rebounds. They're undersized, but they're very athletic, and they can move. And you're going to have to be on your game to stop those guys from getting out and being on a break. So I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I'm going to let y'all ride with this one, because I'm biased. I'm supporting my Florida schools, but Houston guy, I'm with Houston all the way.
AJ, tell me.
Yeah. So I'm gonna touch on Houston a little bit. Obviously, they're one of my picks to make it to the national championship game. But touching up on what Bo said, it's really gonna come down to the bench. I know they got a couple guys like Chaney that comes off and gives them a couple minutes. Emmanuel Sharp, and I always talk to Bo about Sharp all the time, because I believe he's gonna be a great player for Houston in a couple years as he continues to fill out the college game and earn his stride. He's only a redshirt freshman, but he's been having opportunities. But as long as he needs to knock down those open shots. He has that. He gets that confidence in him. He'll be fine. But it's going to be key for the bench, the guys that come off, to be able to contribute meaningful minutes. Even if it's not scoring, if it's playing defense, getting a hockey assist, good rotations, taking a charge. Those little things are going to be key for a Miami team, because with Miami being like one of the only ACC teams left, we know the toughness that Miami's going to bring. And if you've been watching their games, if we all been watching their games, but people that listen to this, when you're watching Miami play, they get a big contribution from a lot of different players on the team. Obviously, we know the Wongs, they got Nigel Pack. I seen Popular Waga perform one day, Jordan. So they get a lot of guys that's going to come and play for them and show up. And they bring toughness just like Houston.
Yes.
But like I said, like Bo was saying, they have a lot of guys that contribute, and Houston's going to need the same exact thing. Obviously, they rely on Marcus a lot, but Houston has the ability for a lot of guys to contribute as well. So as long as they come and bring that physicality, that toughness that Houston does bring, this is a real dogfight. Houston versus Miami, them down south boys versus H-Town. This might be one of the most intriguing matchups of the tournament in the Sweet 16. I'll be honest, just with the physicality they're going to bring, because you can't sleep on Miami, and obviously Houston has them dogs. This one's going to be a good one. Sampson versus Coach Larinaga.
Hey,
It's
I'm
gonna
with
be
you, man.
nice.
You hit it
Well,
right on there. Only one thing I'm gonna touch on. We do have an ace in the hole. Is in Jarris Walker. Has not played great or well for us. He's just been solid. If he steps his game up just a little bit more and makes some plays that he's normally making, then the game is going to be totally different because he's capable of taking over the game.
yeah,
No,
this is
I agree.
this is going to be a dogfight, no doubt about it. Because you had Isaiah Wong, he was the it factor last game, and he poured it off. 27 points, 4 for 6 behind the arc. Also, you have to watch out for Jordan Miller.
Yeah.
And just the way they just manhandled Indiana after struggling in that first round. So you have to look out. Jim Larrigator, another one that's a genius. Gonna get them boys ready. And then Houston, they came with their second half against Auburn, down by 10. What a great job by Kelvin Sampson, making the right adjustments. Came in the second half and showed why Houston's always been one of the top 3 teams in the country. And this is going to be a tough battle right here. And that momentum is going to swing also for the Cougars as well, too, Bo.
Listen, man. Hey, I'm just ready. Like I say, that was a tough one to talk about. Like I say, I'm biased right now because I'm from Texas, live in Florida,
Yeah.
so I'm supporting all Florida teams. But this one right here, I'm all Houston, but I know what Miami's capable of. But
Yeah.
like you say, Wong is that guy who can get you pockets, and I'm not worried. That point guard is a defender that if we got to put him on there to slow him down, guess what? I got confidence in that. But it's going to be, like I said, the supporting cast of doing their job on those rotations, that's taking charges, hockey assists. Just like AJ said, the small things, not necessarily getting us buckets, but making the right play.
Correct. And also, they did a good job, speaking of that game against Auburn. They held Auburn to 38% shooting from the field. Also, 31% mark from the 3-point range. So their defense has to show out. No doubt about it. As the winner of this game is going to take on Xavier against Texas.
Oh, my gosh.
Bo, tell me about that one.
Man, that's another game. I have all my notes in front of me because I'm driving. So I'm going to let AJ hit off on that so I can piggyback on what he's saying because he gives me all the ins and out of the names. So AJ, start that off because I got some information on Texas and I'm nervous about that. But AJ, you start that off for him. I'm going to come back when he come off of that.
Yeah, I'm gonna start off talking a little bit about Texas. They had 2 matchups versus Colgate. Dylan Daisu came and performed, had 17 points, 8 from 11. But Rice was the leading scorer in that one with 23. But then they came back against Penn State, and Dylan came and showed why he's one of the leaders on that squad, having 28 points with 10 rebounds, a nice double-double. And I like Texas. They bring a lot to a table. One of the guys I like on there, the freshman, Dylan Mitchell, he hasn't had a superb tournament. He's had great moments during the regular season. But I feel in this Xavier matchup, he's going to be a guy that could be an X factor, coming off and just giving them that spark because he brings that shot blocking ability, a lob threat, really gets up and down. Young guy that loves to run. He's another Florida guy.
Where you from?
Out
yes,
here.
Sir. Another Florida kid.
I watched him back when he played he actually played with Sharp 1 year, Bo, at Bishop. Yep. And then he ended up, obviously going to Mount Verde. So he's a guy, he's a projected lottery NBA prospect and things like that. But a guy that Chris I know knows Coach Sean Miller, man, and what he's doing with his Xavier program. And the guys they over here with Jerome Hunter showing out with Kennesaw State, which was a nice battle for Xavier, a 14 seed. Yes. They came to play at KSU. Not a lot of people thought they might have had a chance, but they showed that they can compete at a high level with a 3 seed like Xavier. But Jerome Hunter, came to play in that one with 24 points, 5 rebounds, had a steal and a block, getting it done in the defensive end a little bit. So this one's going to be an interesting matchup. I like Texas in this. It's no shy to Xavier. I just feel like the way that Texas plays, their style, with Coach Terry, the way he's taken over that program, and really just maintain what they had and even added his own element to that team. I I think they have what it takes to get past Xavier and, meet Houston in that Elite Eight matchup. But for me,
I'm not looking
it's
forward to
gonna be a whole Texas affair in the Midwest. But that's what I have on those two right here. I believe Texas is gonna get it done. But like I said, Sean Miller, with his experience of what he's done in Arizona and what he's brought to Xavier and really helped get this program back to what we know Xavier to be. This is going to be a good matchup as well, but I like Texas.
Yeah. So here you go, AJ. I appreciate that. So this is how this goes. You gave out a rundown of who's scoring points and who's scoring points on both teams playing defense. What it's going to come down to for this game is scoring points. Can Xavier score enough points? Because Texas, they, like you said, they're athletic, long athletic run, and they like to get up and down. If they get into that groove of making shots and getting up and down, it's going to be hard for Xavier to play that type of game for 40 minutes. Athlete for athlete, Texas, they're winning that matchup. Now, for like say basketball players, yes, they can do it, but for getting up and down, being athletic and running down, Texas is advantage. They're long, lanky, and they score in a variety of ways. They don't just shoot jump shots; they penetrate, they finish around the bucket, and I don't know if Xavier can do that for 40 minutes.
Yeah.
But what is it going to take? Like you mentioned, Sean Miller, this is his second stint at Xavier before he went to Arizona. He took Xavier to the 2008 to the West Regional Finals before losing to UCLA. Then he went to the Sweet 16 2 straight years in 2009, 2010 before moving on to Arizona. And after that comes back, he's helping building this program once again. And right now, this time they're in the Big East. Previous that year, they were major and they were in the Atlantic 10. Now, he's back here right now trying to put this program to the next level. And it's going to be interesting to see how the front court duo of Jerome Hunter and Jack Nunge, as well as Kobe Jones, perform against Disu. So also, that was the combination of Hunter and Nuge had 32 points in last weekend's second round in a convincing win against Pitt. So we look forward to that. And that's going to be another interesting regional. We're going to move on to the South. And this one, Cinderella, Princeton Tigers, 15th seed versus, I'm not calling them a Cinderella, but Creighton. I like this one, 6th seed. Princeton beat Arizona, 2nd seed in the opening round. Then just manhandled Missouri and dominated them by 15 points in the round of 32. Mitch Henderson's squad has won 6 consecutive games since February 18th. Their last loss was to Yale. 7 of Princeton's 8 losses have either come down by single digits or in overtime. But Creighton, they are dangerous. After they took down 3 seed Baylor, it's like it comes down to Ryan Nembar, who had a career high of 30 points in that game. This is going to be another interesting game. A team that likes to shoot the ball, that like to push it up against Princeton, who likes to play slow ball. It's going to be an interesting matchup. Whoever plays their game is going to come out.
Yeah, no doubt on that, Chris. Princeton surprised me. I had to give them their flowers. They came out strong with the Arizona game, playing that nice team ball. Then they came and upset Missouri and did it twice. And anything's possible in the post-game interview. I loved all the energy they brought with Princeton. But I really like how aggressive Princeton is on the glass. They get on the offensive boards. Ryan Langberg came to play in that Mizzou game with 22. Blake Peters trickled in what he did as well. And, with a team like Princeton, the 15th seed going against a Creighton, you're going to need that full team effort, making sure they're getting on the glass like they do, making sure they're making the right plays. So that's going to be tough for them. but I'm gonna have to speak about Creighton. Bo, you're right. When I disrespected Creighton early in my Cinderella or my sleeper NC State early, and you say, "Hey, AJ, don't pass over Creighton like that," and
Yes.
they made me eat my words quick. But they got the double R's over there. I'm not talking about Rolls Royce, but I'm talking about Ryan Nemhard and Ryan
Yes.
Kalkbrenner. Them two boys have been balling. Kalkbrenner
Yes.
has been showing me a little something. Obviously, he didn't do too much offensively against Baylor. Obviously, the first game against NC State, he dropped 31, but obviously he contested a lot of shots down low, not necessarily blocking shots, but making it tough and making guys change their angles on their layups. And Nemhard came hard with the 30-point outing against Baylor. And they just have to limit to their turnovers a little bit. I think they just turned it over a little bit too much for my liking against Baylor, and that's gonna be hard to do with a team like Princeton. Just because when you give those underdogs and those teams that have that hunger and that fight, if you turn it over a little bit too much, they can capitalize on that, and that really could be a difference in the game. But one thing about Creighton is if they can continue to get to that free throw line. Last game, they shot 100% from the free throw line. If you give them those freebies, they're getting to the hole, they're getting fouled, they're going to make those count. They shot 45% from three against Baylor. So, you got to get out on their shooters. So, Coach Greg McDermott, his son, a great 3-point shooter. So, they're going to have them 3-point shooters over there in Creighton. But I like Creighton in this one, but Princeton's going to give them a little bit of challenge, but like I said, they're both going to have to come to play because it's Sweet 16 regardless. But in this one, I'm giving the edge to Creighton. I just like what that double R combo is doing right now, and I feel like, and even with Trev Alexander sprinkling some extra to help them with a third scoring punch, so it's gonna be a good one.
Listen, man, you right about this. You said it early in this is turnovers. Princeton allows you to make turnovers because they shoot a high percentage. They gonna get the shot that they want and they're gonna make it. And my surprise, they're more athletic than I thought they were. They're blocking shots. You got I think the freshmen getting 10 to 12 rebounds. Like, that's not expected, but it's gonna be needed. Because they say Ryan Cockburn, he's a 7-footer. He's the guy that can play the game. Like you say, he's too big, he's too small. He's big enough, but he's skilled enough to stay on the court no matter the size of the opponent. And he's going to be a problem for Princeton because they don't have a guy that big. He can stretch the court. Like you say, everyone knows the McDermott way. Everybody over there can shoot. So therefore, you're going to have to guard the 3-point line because they're going to move around. And I'm a little biased toward Creighton too because they got one of my running mates. His son is a freshman over there. He comes off the bench. He gives them a couple of minutes, and his last name is Miller. If y'all don't know who that is, his first name will be Mike. So Mike Miller's son is over there, and I'm a little biased toward that. But he doesn't play a ton. But that team, Creighton, you gotta watch out because they're always in the mix. I don't care what year it is. When we call them Princeton a Cinderella team, you can't keep calling this team Cinderella team because they get to the tournament on a regular and win. Whenever they get to the tournament, they win. I'm not calling them Cinderella. I'm just calling them a team that's a good team. I'm going to give them their flowers right now because we can't keep calling a team a Cinderella getting there every year. And every time they get in a tournament, they win. So, hey,
Yeah,
kudos to them.
definitely kudos to that Princeton team. That's a team you don't even want to face in the bracket. And you just seen that with Arizona, especially a team that was picked to go to the Final Four and was in top 5 through some of the season. And Princeton, we're going to wait and see. But the winner of this matchup will play against 5th seed San Diego State and number 1 overall seed Alabama. Now, the status of star Brandon Miller will play a role for Bama. He was limited in that first round game against Texas A&M Corpus Christi due to the growing injury and had no points. But he returned roughly to 80% in the second round, scoring 19 points, 3 of 11 shooting against Maryland. Now, the top seed Crimson Tide is lengthy and athletic. It's taken on a San Diego State team that's 9 deep, and they have 6 players who's 6'6" or taller, especially your guard Matt Bradley. transfer from Cal. He could be a problem for Alabama. He's hit 9 for 18 from 3-point range in this tournament so far. Also, you got to look at senior forward Jaden Lee's size, a bulk 6'9", 240. He could provide a test for Brandon Miller. He had 10 rebounds in the first round against Charleston. This team, San Diego State team, will wear you down. They could get physical inside. But on the other hand, if Bama's playing up-tempo and they could be in a track meet, they could wear them down. Bo, tell me your outlook on this game.
Yeah, I hear you saying that San Diego is an up and down team in track meet and all that, or half court physical. They can weigh you down. Alabama has proven that they can play either way. Miller can get out, run the court. They can play because they caught the guard Javon Quinley.
I call him JQ, but yeah, Javon Quinlan or Quinley.
Yeah, he is in the half court is as good as any guard in the league at getting you a bucket when needed. He can create off the bounce, make plays for others, and they shoot it well enough. They shoot it better than people give them credit. But the bigs inside, you got 7-footer and 7-footer. One's athletic and one's long. So they got size and athleticism in the paint. So half court's not going to be a problem with them. Like say, Miller he's he's probably the best college player in the nation right now. It isn't too many things he cannot do. I know why I'm saying this because I'm saying they're tough. I'm saying this because they came into University of Houston and beat us on our court. You beat us on our court, you're playing tough basketball because we're going to play tough. So when they did that, I'm like, okay, this team has some dogs in them. So they're going to come out there, put their shoes on, lace them up. And the bad thing for San Diego State, Miller's catching his stride. He had a breakout game last game. He scored 2 points. He got that little swagger back. He over there shooting and hoorahing, laughing and looking at you from the side of his face. That's not a good sign for San Diego State right now. He's already got a chip on his shoulder, and now he's going to come out there and try to get this Sweet 16 because he's looking for it. But like you said, San Diego State got a lot of transfers and a lot of heart. So it's going to be a dogfight, but I'm thinking Alabama's going to pull this one out.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a dogfight. With Alabama, though, it really impressed me with Brandon Miller. He went scoreless, which wasn't a big deal for me because I know the type of player he is. And, guys have those games where they might throw up a goose egg.
He's too good. He too good to throw up a goose egg, but he was injured, so I give him a pass.
Yeah. But the way that Bama shot in that game, 45% from three. One of the guys, Nick Pringle, came in, had 19, 15 rebounds. Really came in, stepped up. And then the next game, like you spoke about, Bo, JQ, one of the guys I spoke about on the first show that I said was going to be an X factor. He's starting to catch that rhythm. Yeah. A Jersey guard that's playing with that toughness. And he's going to be a great running mate for Brandon Miller as they continue to push and try to get a national championship. But speaking of San Diego State, and once again, I got to give them their flowers because one of my sleepers, College of Charleston, I disrespect San Diego State the first round and didn't pick them to make it through. They woke me up, messed up my bracket a little bit in the beginning. But one thing I like about the San Diego State team as I watched them is they're aggressive, especially on the boards. I seen in that Furman game, out rebounding them 41-24 in the rebounds. They're not giving up no boards. That shot, they're giving people one shot and done. That's it. They're not letting you get a whole bunch of extra chances and second chances at the rim. They shot 30% in that game, 50% from the field. But San Diego proved something to me this game. As we know, Alabama's my pick to win the whole thing.
Okay, you have to say all that.
I got Houston getting to the national championship too, but I made one bracket with Houston for the love of Bo, and then all the other ones had Bama. but San Diego State, for them, like I said, they're gonna have to continue to be aggressive on the glass, try to limit Brandon Miller from going off, as well as JQ. But like Bo mentioned, the bigs down low might be a little too much. So I don't know if they're going to have the crazy advantage on the glass like they had versus Furman, because these bigs in Alabama and the way they play are different.
Yes.
But I don't want to write San Diego State because they made me eat my words before. So I'm just gonna sit back and watch this. But Alabama should take care of business and do what they do. But like I said, San Diego State has got me
No,
once or twice. So
yeah, you right. You hit it right on the head. But like I said, like you said right there, those bigs are making a difference. There's no Furman and there's no College of Charleston. I'm not knocking either one of those teams.
no,
I'm not. I'm
understood.
telling their bigs compared to those
Yeah.
other two teams' bigs, totally different.
Yes.
And that's what's selling me on this game right here is those bigs in the middle making a difference.
Yeah. So you're taking on, they're playing at another, Alabama's on another level compared to Charleston and Furman.
Yes, like the bigs solidify that. The guards, they're going. Brandon Miller's he's the best in the nation, but then the other ones are solid. But those bigs gives that rebounding edge and that inside interior game straight to Alabama.
Yes, I like Alabama in this matchup to convincingly win. I could see them winning double digits.
Dang, I didn't say that now.
No, I ain't saying that. I know you ain't saying that, but I like Alabama to really dominate. They playing at a high level, and that's just how I'm seeing the way Alabama's playing.
They are. I agree.
Yeah, and we're gonna move on to the West region, and that first game Thursday night will be Arkansas against Connecticut. Arkansas just beat Kansas. Eric Musselman and his squad is it's really playing up to par now. It was a team that was on the bubble, and they've been to 2 consecutive Elite Eights. And right now, they're led by Ricky Council and Anthony Black. These boys are balling big time. And they gave Kansas the business this past Saturday. And right now, UConn is also an interesting situation. A lot of people are picking them to go to the Final Four. But the Huskies have won 11 out of 13, dating back to January. This span has seen junior forward Adama Sanago averaging 18 points, 7.9 rebounds, 66% shooting. He averaged 26 points in the first 2 games of this tournament. And this is going to be a good matchup. And AJ, tell me about this matchup.
All right, I'm gonna start off with Arkansas. We've been big on them, Chris, from before even the tournament. Because obviously, the recruiting class, they had a lot of hype coming in, and I liked the young talent that they had, but injuries and everything like that. But I've been really impressed with Ricky and the way he's been carrying this Arkansas team, just being that offensive punch for them. Even when some of the other guys that we know to be offensive scorers like Nick Smith and Anthony Black and even Walsh coming off, these guys that can really fill it up as well, haven't been so far. But I think it's going to be key that Anthony Black and Nick Smith and even Walsh coming off to fully contribute as a whole unit for this Arkansas team to really compete with UConn. Because UConn with Adam Sanogo, I believe you pronounce it, and guys like Hawkins and Newton over there with UConn, they're tough to defend. It's really hard to defend. These guys can hit the 3. They bring that toughness. Coach Hurley has them playing great defense. They even have that freshman, I believe his name is Klingon. He only gets a couple minutes, but he comes in, gives you about 3 blocks, a couple layups, 100% from the field, gives you almost 5 rebounds just in like 12 minutes of play. They get contributions from the bench. The starters come in. UConn in this one, for me, I feel they're going to be the favorite to win this. But if Arkansas wants a chance, I really believe Anthony Black and Nick Smith and Walsh have to show up and give Ricky that needed help to really be able to stay alive in this fight versus UConn. Because as we all know, in a boxing match, you can't just take punches. You got to be able to return them. So in this one, I feel Arkansas is going to have to go blow for blow with UConn. And they're going to need the help from their elite freshman class that everyone was so excited about. And if this is any game for them boys to show up, Nick Smith and them and company will have to be in this UConn game to give them a chance to take down the Huskies because, like you said, Chris, a lot of people have them in the Final Four and they're looking like a team that can make it. But we'll see if Arkansas has enough heart and fight in them to overcome the Huskies.
Man, listen. I like what you're saying there because the key for me is the perimeter shooting. Council shoots it okay. What surprised me last game was Davis. Devontae Davis scored when they needed buckets at a crucial time. If I'm correct, I think he might have scored 10 straight points for them.
Yeah, in the Illinois game, yeah.
Yes, he stepped up, and that's what they're going to need. Somebody to make shots. Because on the other side, you can guarantee Hawkins is going to let that ball fly. And if he's making shots, and you got to try to match shot for shot with him, and we ain't went to Adama. I'm not going to trouble to say his last name. I'm leaving alone. We're not going to go to the big in the middle because he's a load. Arkansas doesn't have a big that's dominating like that. And I don't know if they played a big who dominates like that. It's not. He's going to be a force to be reckoned with down there because he can run the floor and he's physical down there and they get the ball to him. But if Hawkins is making shots and the other guard, what's his name? Jackson is. He's not a shooter. He's a super explosive kid, but he's going to guard anybody they need him to guard who's scoring points for Arkansas.
Yeah, Jackson brings a lot of playmaking. Like you were saying,
he's a point guard, finisher, and defender. He's their best on-ball defender. So if Council's going to score some points, guess who's going to be in front of him? You got to tell me who's going to make shots for Arkansas for them to win this game. Now, if they keep the game scrappy and grimy and dirty, they got a great chance. But if just mark my word, if UConn start making shots, it's going to be a problem for Arkansas because they don't make shots like that. They make plays.
Right. Definitely, it's going to come down to making plays with Arkansas or making shots with UConn. And
yes, sir.
By the way UConn's looking, I seem like I think they're going to be making the shots. I see more that veteran leadership team they have had. I think they're going to advance to the Elite Eight. I like them in this one, but this is going to be a close game. It's going to be a battle, and I think UConn is just going to wear them down, and I think UConn will move on.
I'm a little biased though toward Arkansas, because I do know Coach Eric Musselman pretty well. So I'm a little biased. I do want him to do well. He kind of lost me when he took his shirt off, but he's still my guy. But
and he had to let them young boys know, man. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, let the kids do it, man. You can't be the head coach and do it. I'm your fan. I'm your guy, but come on, man. Let the kids enjoy that, man.
He had to get the crowd hype, man. He had the D-Wade stand up in front of the fans and get them going.
Hey, if it was the championship, I'm all with him now. It was you beat the number one seed. You beat Kansas, which is no walk in the park. But come on, man. Hey.
He needed his Pat Bev moment, bro. Let him get his Pat Bev moment, man. I wanted him to throw the shirt in the crowd.
Yeah. All right. We're moving on to the winner of that game. Will take on Gonzaga and UCLA. Gonzaga, number 3 seed. UCLA, the 2nd seed. Both played in the Final Four back in 2021 in a great game, which Gonzaga beat UCLA on Jalen Suggs basket at the buzzer in overtime.
Shout out O-Town.
But UCLA's Jamie Jacquez and Gonzaga's Drew Timme took part in that epic game, but both will play huge roles as these two West Coast rivals will decide that to advance to the late. UCLA, which defeated their opponents, but combined 38 points, though Northwestern provided some fight in that round of 32. Jacquez had 24 points, was the difference in that one. Also, looking for some of the other role players to come up big. Tiger Campbell, that leadership, he's been there before. And then the other person that's going to be coming to play, and he's really getting better and better, Amari Bailey. Watch out for them. And also you have the freshman, Adam Bona. They gotta look out. They got some weapons there. But meanwhile, Drew Timmy came with it this past Sunday. Took out TC.
I'm on the phone.
And Drew Timmy showed that veteran leadership, the experience. He went for 28 points and averaging 22 points, 7-point rebounds per game in his last 8 outings. Also, these 2 big name players. Also, you have to look at UCLA, the injury of UCLA guard David Singleton, who suffered last round, could play a big role in this one. He may likely suit up Thursday night. That's going to be something to watch. Either way, this is going to be a good matchup. I think this is the top matchup of all the Sweet 16 out of all 8
think
games.
So? You think this is the top matchup?
I like these are one of the top matchups. I said one of the three. One of the best three.
I don't know because
I see where. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Paul.
Go ahead, man. What you got, AJ? Because I don't.
No. You know, no. I said what my toughest matchup, but I can see where Chris is coming from in the sense of the history of these 2 programs, what they've had in the tournament. Obviously, you know, some returning players, some different players, but for UCLA they have a little bit more edge because the way that Gonzaga beat them, Suggs hitting almost a half-court shot to send them home and had his D-Wade moment. But I feel like Drew Timmy, this is what he came back for. He came back to Gonzaga another year to finally try to make it back to the national championship and win him one with his running mate Julian that dropped 28 in that first game. I think Gonzaga can give UCLA a good run, but Jaquez Jr. and Amari Bailey and Chris said the leadership of Tiger, I believe it's just going to be a little bit too much for this Gonzaga team. I really love the way that UCLA plays. And I feel in this matchup, they might just be a little bit too much for Gonzaga. Drew Timmy's going to have to play exceptional in this one, as he has been. But we'll see what happens when he matches up with UCLA. But for me in this one, I think it's going to be one of those top matchups, like Chris said. I said which one's my favorite or which I think is going to be the best one, but I believe this one's going to have a lot of more added to it with the history of these 2 programs. But I like the UCLA to come out on top on this one.
Okay. I see where y'all coming from with the history, but as for the matchup, yeah, I see where you can say UCLA can win it. You have a freshman in your center for UCLA. Is this not correct?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, that's where the problem falls right there. Drew Timmy has been down this road before. So you're going to depend on this freshman to stop Drew Timmy unless y'all are going to double. Because if that freshman he stays in foul trouble on guys who are not as aggressive as Drew Timmy. So he going to have to stay on the court. If not, they're going to have to be undersized or go to a zone. And I don't think they play much zone. So Drew Timmy, if he's playing well and getting their bigs in foul trouble UCLA, then it's going to be a problem for UCLA. Because the guards for both teams, there's not that much difference. You might have a little bit slightly athletic, more guards with Bailey at UCLA. But skill set, it's not too much difference in both those teams. Those guards for both teams are skilled. From the 1 to the 3, they can play the game. The key for me difference is Timmy in the middle dominating this game, getting people in foul trouble. Because if you look at UCLA, who can do something with him? That part right there. So
it's going to be tough on that one.
That's going to be the difference right there for me. If someone doesn't figure out how to do something with Timmy, there's going to be a problem. So the edge for me is going to go to Gonzaga just because of Drew Timmy's presence in the middle.
Okay. Very interesting. Now you got a good point there, Bo. Drew Timmy in the middle against a freshman with Bona. That's going to make a huge difference. And
yes,
if Timmy could get, if the other team supporting cast can come through, we we can see Gonzaga pulling through. But this one, like this will be a close game throughout the point, but it's going to come down to Timmy or that UCLA. Depends on UCLA style. The backcourt's going to make a huge difference. So it comes down to that. Any final comments, guys?
I seen an interesting thing yesterday that actually 12 of these teams in the Sweet 16 haven't ever won a national championship. So there's a high chance that one of these schools, one of these programs could see their first national championship. Obviously, we know that Michigan State, Arkansas, UConn, UCLA, but everyone else in the field has never seen the national championship before. So there's a chance
we don't want to talk about that. I'm salty on that too. Let's bring up old wounds over here, man.
Hey, bro, I know it's rough, but hey, they can finally see one. Y'all can finally get one. You know what I'm saying?
Man, we supposed to have a national championship. NC State, that was a fluke, man. Come on, man.
Hey,
that was a great memory.
Shout out Valvano.
Oh yes. Slow ball he played.
No, it's called we didn't block out.
There's a lot of things that happened in that.
That was one of the best passes, missed shots in history.
That was not a pass.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm just ready for this to get going here because we talked about all these matchups. I don't think there's one matchup that you say, it's going to be a runaway, or I don't really want to pay attention to. We've had the first time we started talking, we had dogfight after dogfight. The second one, we got skill set after skill set. I'm just ready to see these games and how it plays out, because at this point right now, all the nerves are gone. Now you're playing basketball, and it's now just about the production. So I just want to see, can we get over the excitement of making it to the 16 and keep playing?
Yeah, definitely. That's where it comes down. So that will conclude our episode for today. And I'd like to thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Take care.
Yep, peace. H-Town in the house. Believe that.
Like that.